What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dore back again on a lunchtime podcast. People, how's everyone feeling about the news that broke last night of Morgan Gibbs-White has snubbed Tottenham Hotspur to stay with Nottingham Forest? How's everyone feeling? I'm still buzzing. I know the guy next to me is more buzzing than everyone else, but people, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And again, Morgan Gibbs-White is staying at Nottingham Forest. He had to get him on. Look at his face. He's beaming. His face is. I've never seen Des smile this so much. But there's Oldham. Tell everyone, how you feeling about the man himself, Morgan Gibbs-White, staying at Nottingham Forest, man?
Well, it's fantastic news, isn't it? Really shocked, like everybody else, when I saw it last night. Just about to go to bed. And I saw the news, kept me awake for a bit tired this morning. But no, it's brilliant, isn't it? Because the biggest thing in all of it, and I'm sure we'll get into the crux of it, is I was just really worried where we go without him and what happens next. So to see that signing, we've said it for the last couple of windows, it's been more important who we keep rather than who we get in, you know. So again, Elanga's gone, and this one, and took maybe one or two hints around Hudson-Odoi. It's just the start of some really positive news, and hopefully maybe Hudson-Odoi signing and one or two new signings, and then it makes us all look forward to the new season. I've really been a bit flat for a couple of weeks.
Yes, Des has been flat, people. So people cheering. This is why I'm saying he's happy. The biggest smirk on his face.
Nearly ruined my summer, you know, just sulking about Forest. Really positive about Europe, and then all the drama that's come with that, and the angst over Morgan Gibbs-White and how quickly that all came about. You know, out of the blue as well. Put us on the back foot, you know, so I was really starting to worry. You know, I'm quite pragmatic when it comes to Forest, as enthusiastic as I am. But looking at it without those two in particular, Elanga and Gibbs-White and possibly Hudson-Odoi, it would have been a frightening challenge ahead to get anywhere near last season, never mind, you know, in the top echelons of the Premier League. So it's important, and it's the perfect building block to kickstart and look forward to the new season.
I was going through the comments because, like I said, there's people who's buzzing about the man himself, Gibbs-White. Like I said, like Des is a massive fan, and quite a lot of people who are massive fan as well. Hugo says this is the very best news on Sunday. Bet Morg is going to get a better weekly pay package than before. Wow, he's a highest earner now, so it's so great news. He says, "How you doing? E? Hello, Mr. Dore and Des. Hope you're well. I sat in Morgan's place yesterday in the Forest change room. Maybe Eve, you gave him good luck. But I hope you're well, Eve.
Happy birthday, Eve, as well.
Happy birthday, Eve. People in the chat, say happy birthday to Eve. Yeah, happy birthday, Eve. I think she's 18. No, I'm joking. She's bad. I don't know. Eve, how old are you, Eve? People in the chat, say happy birthday to Eve, man. Happy birthday, Eve. Justin says, great news, you read. Big up to Justin. If you want to be a member, just like Justin, please hit the $sign if you can. Justin, like I said, he gets the perks of all the content I get. So if you want to be like Justin, please be a member to my channel. Another legend, I think this is Des, another fine. Greetings, legends. Monkey's Way is a new signing. Counting down to today's joggers are packed with some due diligence. Is he one of you, Des?
He is. He's coming over from Australia for the Brentford game.
He is as well. Stefan, I cannot wait to see you, my friend. I know you look forward to seeing more Des than me, but come on, just see me as well.
Levels.
Yeah, okay. I've heard it all before from you, Des. Happy, yes, he is. Happy days. I think everyone's just happy as well. Kevin says, it's taken long enough through though, mate. This is not what I expected either. Morgan should have made it intentionally clear from the off on now. I hate to say this. I'm not convinced, but I think it's happened with all footballers, Kevin. Because like I said, I think the main thing is it's dragged on, and what's all the things that's happened and that it's.
I think we'll get into that, won't we, Dore? I think there's certain things from my point of view, and obviously you've got me on to talk about this, where it's not, look, I'm happy, you know, he's staying purely for the benefit of the club and the team and what happens on the football pitch. There's one or two little quirks in it that I'm sure we'll get to.
Definitely. Another legend. Morning, Dore and Des. And happy birthday, Eve. Glenn, I hope you're well, my friend, and I will definitely see you soon, Glenn. I think Glenn on the channel. He's like Des. He's got everyone on the channel are great. They've got their own spin on things, but I miss Glenn. Glenn, I will message you to get on the channel without Des on. I'm joking. Like I said, yeah. So Justin says happy birthday, Eve. So people in the chat, like I said, Monk Gibbs-White signed a contract, but let's talk it further, Ted. It's like it's dragged on. It got boring, and again, when Austin said it last night, I'm thinking, oh my god, he's a super agent. He knows everything. But your thoughts, as well, people in the chat, get involved. What's your thought, Des, on the whole thing? Because, like I said, you look Gibbs-White, and they said you've not been happy with all what's been happening. So, what's your thoughts on it, Des?
So just to sort of set the scene, obviously I am a massive Gibbs-White fan. I wanted him to sign before we did sign, and then when he signed, I thought what a player that is. And for 2 seasons, not quite single-handedly, but he's been a massive. For the first 2 seasons, he was the biggest reason we stayed in the Premier League. He's that important as a player. Last season, he was important, but he weren't quite as important because we started to add some real quality around him, defensive areas, and Hudson-Odoi and Elanga coming into their own. So he was still really important, still the best player, I believe. Still somebody, I think every time he's pulled on a Forest shirt, he's given 110%. I don't think anything he's done on the football pitch has ever let us down. When the news came about him leaving, I was taken back, and I said to you, I tried to sort of play it down, and I played it down on my own social media about not getting disappointed when players leave anymore. I'm too old for all of that. I got upset when Pearce left and Colin Moore and Bohinen, and all those players, and I thought I was way beyond that. But I'm messing about a little bit on my own social media last night. I said I was pretending it wasn't hurting with Gibbs-White, but it's like when you get dumped. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And you pretend it doesn't matter. But it was too soon. It was too soon for this relationship to end. And that's what it felt, realistically, and joking aside, it felt like there's still a bit more to come from Forest and Gibbs-White as a partnership. Yes, he's an extreme talent who's going to go on, and possibly even before the end of the next contract, there's going to be more bids and there's going to be more speculation, and possibly he might have been promised a bigger move should that come along. But for now, like I say, it feels like this is not the time to dismantle everything that we've put together. Over the last couple of years, it's been hard. The Premier League's been brutal. Of course, Cooper tried his best. It weren't good enough to come in. Nuno was struggling at the start. The team was struggling. There's arguments about this, that, and the other. Fans feel like we're being priced out of it, and all it's hard work. So to see it happening on the pitch last season was just a real relief. And when you supported, I'm not sort of droning on about how long I've supported Forest, but when you supported Forest for as long as we have, and I have, you've seen far more lows than you've seen highs. So you have to really cling on. And it just felt like this one was going to fizzle out before it really got started. And now with him sort of signing, it gives us that fresh impetus to go again. It's a phrase I use a lot, go again. But
go again. That's your favourite quote, Des.
It's a chance for the team and the club to work off some real positivity after lots of negativity. And when it comes to Gibbs-White himself, look, it's not necessarily the person that I'm over enamoured with. I felt in all of this, the one bit that really upset me with Gibbs-White, and I never commented because I was just sulking, basically. I didn't want to comment. I didn't want to say too much. I didn't want to suggest it was because his missus wants to live in London, or because they want this money, or because they want that, or whatever. I didn't know. None of us know that. None of us know the crux behind it. All we knew is for a day or two, it looked like he were going to Tottenham, and all that happened very quickly. And I was upset the fact it was Tottenham, because I don't think they're big enough. And I don't think we. Whilst
don't rattle the Spurs fans. Don't rattle the Spurs fans, Des. Wait. He's already rattled us. If you follow him on social media, he's already rattled the Spurs fans this morning, Des. Leave him alone, man.
Or whilst we're all selling clubs, Liverpool are a selling club. Trent Alexander-Arnold's gone to Real Madrid. And we all have to accept that. Alanga goes to Newcastle. Isaac possibly going to Liverpool. We're all selling clubs. I just didn't think Spurs was the right club to lose a star player to at this point, and that irked me. So there was lots that was sort of wrangling away at me in the background. Like I said, I didn't want to sort of get flippant and blame this, and like people tend to do on social media these days. The only time he did bother me as a person is when he walked in that blue and white outfit, into training on that first day, and I thought that was a little bit petulant. I thought, we've been good to him, and he knows that. I'm sure he knows that. We've been good to him as fans as well. From whatever he's done on the pitch, he's been made to feel welcome. We've backed him at every opportunity when we play Wolves and things like that, and took to him so much. So, it was just that irked me a little bit, and I did make some sort of comment on the back of that. But other than that, I always say to you and the guys, it's none of our business what goes on in the background, what money he earns, why they want to move. It happens. Players do move on. I tried to convince myself it wasn't going to hurt me, but this one was.
It did hurt you, Des. It did hurt you. Stop lying.
No, I'm not lying at all. It really did, purely because it matters to me more what happens on the football pitch. And all I could envisage without Gibbs-White and Alanga, two of the biggest parts of our team, without them, it would have been a struggle. It wouldn't have been a case of, we might challenge for top 10. It would have been back to struggling at the bottom of the league. And probably we've just about got enough on the teams coming up, because that's how the Premier League is these days. They tend to really struggle. But it would have been a battle down there with teams like Burnley, with teams like Brentford and Bournemouth, who are losing their players. It's easy for us to look in from the outside and go, oh, wow, look at who they've lost. They're going to struggle. Teams would have been thinking that about us. And that was my real concern. It felt like the club was being asset stripped all of a sudden. And that's the price of success. People moan all year long when players are linked to Tottenham or Newcastle or this, and they say it's rubbish when journos come out with this.
Yeah.
This is the price of success. We have to live with that. So that, I'm a big sort of, when I do have my say on social media, it's about moaning about not moaning, about all those kind of things, because ultimately that's not our job. Our job is to support the team and what happens on the pitch. And when we get behind Morgan Gibbs-White and the rest of the 10 players in the red shirt, we're good at what we do. They've been brilliant at what they do, and it's a recipe for success. And without the key components to all of that, it would have been a real struggle. And that's what was bothering me. I get the comments about.
I'll get to the comments, Des. I'll get to the comments in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just sort of the comments about loyalty and all those things. Look, it's not going to happen, is it? We don't know why Alanga left, really. But he went with good wishes and he said some nice words afterwards. Like I say, the one thing that didn't help with Gibbs-White was that sort of show with the kit. That was him making a statement, because they work around PR all the time. They have people advising them and telling them what to do. And that was a real statement. It was the shoes in the hand that did me, the football boots. Yeah. And I just thought I couldn't sort of get away from it. But, Gibbs-White's a bit like that, isn't he? He is a bit petulant. He gets a lot of stick. With the Wolves fans, to be fair to him, he gives as good as he gets. And I like that. I like that in a person, somebody who can stick up for themselves. But that moment, I felt that was unwarranted, and that's where he hurt me. But look, when it comes to sort of loyalty in football, it's not there, is it? It doesn't matter who it is. As long as we've got him in a red shirt on the pitch for another season, and now I can only think one season at a time, because, like I said, the transfer window comes up. If he plays well and was successful again, it's all good. I'm sure there's a different kind of release clause, if any. Where we have
Des, you keep lagging. I can hear you, but you keep lagging. You're lagging a lot. Can you hear me, Des? Why Des talks the thing? You're right. Des, I can hear you, but you're just lagging. Huh? Des, can you hear me? I can hear you, but you just keep. You know, you're talking, but it was like a 2-second delay. So on your Wi-Fi. It seems all right. From Des, talk. Say hello. Des, come in, come back out. Come in, come out.
Hello.
I can hear. Yeah. Yeah. Talk. You're fine. No, you're lagging. He keeps lagging. But before let Des sort his thing out. Chris says, "Good morning, boys. Crisis. I've no more service with you up the Reds." Stephen said, "Dore, you interviewed the Olympic Arts fan. He said Marinakis hates to lose, and he's a winner mentally. Definitely, and that was cost the Olympiacos fan saying that he is a winner. And that's what he is. I'm going to put 4 page 4. Get on that. Here we go. He's back on. Is he on? I'll wait till he gets the picture on. So yeah, 100%. He is a winner. Definitely winner. I'm like again. They're going to be positive. Going to be negative. And like I said, people are said if you want to be negative about the Gibbs-White situation, please do. Like I said, everyone's got their opinion. If he's on, you right now? The Meadows Wi-Fi. That's what it is. The Meadows Wi-Fi. So sorry. I'm just going through the comments. Hadi says, "Once a snake, always a snake." Like I said, people are going to have the good, and people are going to have the bad. And like I said, it's all about opinion. It's about football. And the next one, and this is another interesting one from Stefan. How you doing, Stefan? Not happy Gibbs-White staying, if I'm honest. So overrated. Missed out Champions League because of his poor form. Don't forget, lads, he dropped from taking free kicks and corners last season. That says it all. 100%, Stefan. Like I said, and I think it is right. I think there's people who likes more Gibbs-White. He's a best player, and all eyes are going to be on him. All eyes been, and because we're so focused on more Gibbs-White, we are going to get his faults. And like I said, Elliot Anderson took the corners. Malanga took the free kicks. I think it was successful, and like I said, Gibbs-White, I don't like bash him, and it's like I said, you can be negative towards him, and that's fine. He is one of our best players. I don't care what anyone says. People can go on other podcasts, on other channels, and slate him more Gibbs-White, and he is one of our best players. It's simple as that. But like I said, Stefan, I respect your opinion as well, and like I said, it's people. If you want to be like Stefan and be negative, feel free. Raz Dads, Gibbs-White still a Red. The saga is over now. Move on. 100%, Raz Dads. I hope you're well. Make sure everyone subscribes to Raz as well, because he's put a video out there as well. I will put in the link. Des, sorry, what did you say, Des? You lagged out.
I can't remember where it was, but just a comment on that and his ability. Look, he is our best player. There is faults in his game, like there is with most players. You know, free kicks, corners, sometimes could be improved. But when it comes to playmaking, you know, he is the one. You look at it amazes me how he manages to link up with each of our strikers, whether it was Brennan Johnson, Tyro Wanyu when he was in form, Chris Wood, who is the main provider. You know, yes, the others contribute, but this guy is the man sort of, he's deep in midfield, then he's the last man, you know, before the striker, chipping the ball into the box. And he always seems to find that sort of rhythm. With Brennan, it was down the right-hand side, slipping him in. With Tyro, it was a bit more central, and he'd play the ball over the top for him to muscle in. And with Wood, it's Wood peeling off to that back post and him looping across in. So he always builds that relationship. And for one player to do it with so many different types of player, you know, I think the chemistry between Wood Wood and Gibbs-White is absolutely amazing. And this is why Wood has been such a revelation this season. I don't think he's played with players at the level of Gibbs-White. That's why you're seeing him do his job and score all those goals. So he is important. And this is why big clubs come in for him. You know, I know it's hard to take and it's hard to swallow. You know, I've just bemoaned his behaviour and the blue and white kit thing, but big clubs come in for him because he's the best player. Pundits talk about him because he's the best player. What you notice, it was like when you used to play Sunday morning football, the best player in the team used to get man of the match every week. Whenever we're on Sky, Morgan Gibbs-White gets man of the match. That's because we probably don't see some of the good stuff anymore because we take it a bit for granted. You know, when these top pundits, whether they're right, wrong, and whoever they are, when they come to Forest or see Forest and see him play, it's quite clearly he stands out as the best player. And he always generally gets man of the match. So I'm sure somebody will throw some stat at me that he doesn't.
Someone throw a stat at Des, man. Come on, man. Throw a stat at Des. Come on.
But that's why it's so important. And there's the talk there of the World Cup in England. This is why he's knocking on the door now. Everybody was fuming when he didn't get in the England team. Do you know, I was quite happy. Again, I was thinking, it's that old thing, isn't it? Shh, keep it quiet. You know, don't rattle any cages. But, you know, with these sort of players, you can't win because if they play well, you risk losing them. So, but no, his ability, I don't think we can question it. And I don't think we can question the impact he's had on the team in the last 2-3 seasons, you know, because nobody else has had the same level.
100%. I'm going to go for the comments as well. As comments are flying in. We definitely need him, and that's coming from Mark. Hugo said, "You Reds." Scott says, "How you doing, Scott? Hope you're well." Got to think about his own career as well as the World Cup. We all know Tuchel is not picking Gibbs-White if he's playing for Nottingham Forest. So we pick him Forest over England. It's massive, definitely, Scott, because as I said, it's a World Cup season, and like I said, there's going to be fans with Gibbs-White, and for his own career, he wants to be in the World Cup. And just
a bit of something on that, Dore, as well. Yeah. How do we know that Tuchel won't pick him for Forest? He already has picked him from Forest. You know, he's seen a bit more of him now. He didn't pick him initially because he played for Forest, but now he's seen a bit of him. And if you went to the game at the City Ground, even for the cameo he played, he was England's best player.
Yeah.
And that's not being biased. England were really bad. But who's to say, and this is the problem with football today, everyone makes up their own reasons of why things don't happen. Who's to say he's not had a word with Tuchel in the meantime? You know, since the whole Spurs thing came up, till now, obviously Marinakis is the biggest influencer in all of this, without a shadow of a doubt. But who's to say that Tuchel's not said, no, you're okay, you know, if you want to carry on playing for Forest, then that's not going to affect your England chances. We just don't know. We don't know those kind of things, and it's so easy just to assume. There was lots of people saying his missus wants to live in London. How do we know that?
How do we know?
And if they want to live in London, they could do anyway.
Exactly.
You know, they've got enough money to get to Nottingham and get about and do whatever they want. So I think it's easy to speculate on those things. I just, like I keep saying, all that matters is he plays for us, and
that's all it matters, man. He's a Nottingham Forest player. There's important questions here, and I'm going to go for Glenn first. Might be a matter of time before Morgan Gibbs-White moves away from City, going. I know they got into next season, especially for the World Cup place. We should support him. Why is a red? Definitely. And this is what I'm going to tell Des in a minute about the backlash from Free Forest fans and who was, like I said, I went to the game last week and the Free fans booing and blah blah blah. Now they've got to swallow their pride because he's a Forest player now. What we're going to do, the people who hate him, when we go to the game, are going to boo him every time he touches the ball. You're not going to do that. And again, I understand it. Some people are going to be happy. Some people are going to be fuming with it. But he's winning the Forest badge. Dave mentioned it. He is a best player. I love Cameron Hudson-Odoi. I love Yatesy. I love Milinkovic. But Morgan Gibbs-White is our best player. If you disagree with me, please get in the comments if you do. Because who is our best player at Forest? I'd love to know, please, if you can. This is from a Spurs fan. How you doing, Dave? Hi, Ben. Spurs fan here. We was never a player, so I don't know why Spurs fans are fuming. Just let me say, do you think if Gibbs-White went to Spurs, do you think he would have had that role? Because they got so many number 10s there. Got Maddison, other players as well. And as well, Forest fans, what's your opinion on it? What do you think he would have fit in Spurs, Des? Do you think it would have been a starter? Because I've seen Spurs podcasts and they're saying to me, oh, he wouldn't have started. He's not. What's your opinion on it?
Look,
thank you, David.
I made that point before, and sometimes it's the graveyard. I don't want to be disrespectful for Dave's sake.
No, say it, because they've been.
No, I'm going to say it, but for the Spurs fan
towards you, Dave.
For the Spurs fan who just politely commented, Spurs has been a graveyard for top players, hasn't it? You know, number 10s. You look at Madison, you know, one or two others have gone there, and it's not strikers, you know, not really hitting the ground running from the clubs they've been at. Look, I believe he's that good a player. He would have gone there and made a difference. And I'm sure the Spurs fans will be upset, because if you think you're getting that level of player, proven in the Premier League, remember, absolutely proven. Forest fans kept fuming over players they've never seen. You know, they're all losing the proverbial over this guy from Italy. We've never really seen him. We've seen bits and bobs, you know. We've heard good things from commentators, but we don't see him week in, week out. And we're all and the guy who played at PSV who went to Germany, we all lost a shit over him. I get why they're upset. If you think you're signing that kind of player, you know, and it's almost done, you're doing a medical. And all of a sudden he's reversing on the M1 and coming back up the A453. You know, I totally get why you'd be upset, because that's what football is. It's emotive. I don't like this whole transfer thing, and I'm glad when we get back to the pitch and we can talk about it. When I do my content, it's all purely based on what I see on a football pitch. You know, I do these things with you, of course, because they're talking points, and we love talking about football, but ultimately, you know, until someone's signed, he's not their player, is he? He's not. I do think he would have had an impact, because I think he's an impactful footballer, and he is on the verge of the England team. If you look at who Spurs have at number 10, you know, and I know there's variations of number 10, so people might pick me up on this, but you're looking at Son, who's possibly on the way down. Kulusevski, but inconsistent, again, plays out wide like Son. You know, you've got Maddison, who Gibbs-White's a better player than Maddison. Just the fact he's in the England squad ahead of him would suggest that. You know, good player nonetheless, but again, not really worked out for him. And I'm sure Spurs will be a different outfit. You know, I'm dreading seeing what Spurs might be, because they're not one of my favourite clubs. And I don't like Thomas Frank. I don't think any Forest fan really does.
No, we don't like Thomas Frank.
But what I have to admit, he's a good manager, and he's made some solid signings for them already, you know, and he gets teams playing. When we played that Brentford team, and on their pitch especially, they're frightening. The way he's put that squad together, you know, he's absolutely frightening. Now with some more resources and a better level of player, it's frightening what he could do. I hope it doesn't, because I can't stand him. Yeah. But again, I see that Spurs will make an impact. They've got Champions League. And of course, that's probably the biggest pull of all, isn't it? You know, I'm not suggesting there's anything underhand gone off, but he'll be talking to his mate Brennan. You know, they're big mates. There's no two ways about that. He's got Champions League. He played with him a couple of seasons. He might think he's probably surpassed Brennan in terms of his stature within in the game to some degree. You know, Brennan's a great player in his own right and really important to Spurs. But he'll probably be thinking, well, I was here with him and he's moved on and now it's my turn. Look, this is the way it works in football, isn't it? But sometimes you just have to sit back, you know, take one on the chin, whether you sell him or whether you miss out on a signing, and just crack on with what happens on the pitch. And as soon as it gets to the 17th of August, you know, when we sat in the City Ground, we'll be happy that we've got back what we really want. And we've got a team we feel that can compete in the Premier League.
I'm sorry, I was going to go through the comments like the comments flying in, man. So without doubt, we can say without Morkis, right? Remember when we was injured last season, we all concerned who will step up. Definitely. I think, like I said, because I keep mentioning this, like I said, this number 10 role for us, it's so important. Like when it came to Forest, I thought we're getting a player like he wasn't out there. Like he did well for Sheffield United in the Championship, but we know the Championship and Premier League is a big step. And look at him; he had to suffer the first 2 seasons as a Forest player, and now look at him, the 3rd season again. He's our best player.
Going back to the point and what you asked me about him fitting in at Spurs, I've been moaning for a couple of years that we need a number 6, as you know. It's my biggest thing to make our team better. Can you imagine him in an attacking Spurs team? I keep saying, if we had a number 6, Morgan Gibbs-White plays 10 yards further up the pitch. Don't have to do some of that donkey work at the back. Imagine him in a team that's attacking, going forward. I think he would have flourished. And hopefully, if Forest can sort some of those midfield issues out, where it's still a bit disjointed, we don't quite know who plays in which role. If they can sort some of those, you get even more from him and he becomes even more valuable. Another 3-4 goals, getting on the ball that second quicker, some of that crossing and those kind of things, might help his dead ball, because he might be more confident and more, feel like he's got more time even in those situations. So I just think it's really important to realise that if Forest had a different level of player, like Spurs have potentially got sitting in behind and more attacking talent to take some of the burden away from him, you probably get contradicted to some degree. You get more of a player out of him.
100%. I think the comments are flying in, and this is from Glenn as well. Tuchel won't select if you place for. It's just the agent speak. Definitely, Glenn. Definitely. Cal says people need to go up. The name calling and booing. What does that achieve apart from making yourself look stupid? He's our player until he leaves. Definitely, Cal. And this is what I'm trying to say with people. Everyone has opinion on this. This is why we got all these social media and. Like I said, me and Des have an opinion on as well, and that's why you got everyone's got their opinion on his situation. But listen, he's a Forest person. He plays for Forest. Until then, listen, we've got to back him. Not just Gibbs-White, everyone who represents Nottingham Forest, and it's a new chapter for us Forest fans because we're going to Europe. We want to stay in the Premier League, and listen to me, it's exciting times. And for the new contract with Gibbs-White, it's a massive statement. Big statement, and I'm going to mention to Des in a minute about that because let me go through before let me Des answer this question as well. This was Scott. Morgan White has done nothing wrong other than being 100% professional, turning up, training, playing matches. He's not bad mouth the club. He didn't force exit. So let's command him. Let me go, Scott. Let me go on this one because that's the same with what's his name? Plays Brendan Whistle because Newcastle want him. And now he's refused to come. Imagine Gibbs-White did exactly the same. Gibbs-White was professional. He came to training, and like Des says, he wore the Tottenham colours and all that. But he's come to training. He hasn't done a whistle. Our Brentford fans are going to hammer a whistle now because Whistle did exactly the same. Hasn't turned up for training. And Brentford said they're going to do whatever they need to do to find him and Gibbs-White has come to training, and now he's signed a contract. There's going to be a few Forest fans out there are going to like, yes, they might boo him for being a snake, but I'm not. He plays for Forest. It's simple as that. This is from Dave. Spurs fan. I think maybe Morgan would have been our number 10, but with Madsen and Decker in the same role, I think we need to improve in over here. Great show, lad. Dave, thank you very much for the kind words, my friend. And listen, Dave, I'm going to ask you a question. What do you think of Brennan now? What do you think of Brennan Johnson? Because you lot hammered him at the start. He was your top scorer. He won you the Europa, now you're in Champions League. And that's not dig at you, Dave. Spurs fans, if that Des said, it's a graveyard at Spurs, and the moment you didn't play good for the first 2 months, you hammer him, and it was so sad for what Brennan did. And now look what happened. And like I said, Dave, respect you, Dave. And like, it's just some Spurs fans hammered him, and now look at him. He's a legend. Spurs fans now. It's a sad state of affairs when it comes to social media. I look forward to seeing Tengai next season. Look forward. I mean, Des, are you looking forward to Tengai, Des? I've got him.
The same old words. Just prove me wrong. You know, I'm quite happy to eat a plate full of humble words. You know,
Yeah.
just prove me wrong. Look, I saw signs of a player in that Chelsea game, and I even wrote a bit of a piece, as you know, and put it out there. You know, just to show that it's not a witch hunt. I just don't see it regular enough. And if he was that star number 6 we bought, all these issues I'm talking about in midfield would be resolved, and we'd have more out of Morgan Gibbs-White. Getting back to the subject, we'd have more out of the player we want. So again, it's about the level of player around him.
Mohammed, hi, Dos. I've just joined late, so finished the shower. But great news that Gibbs-White staying. Fun fact that it's first time since we've been promoted as that player. Yeah, Mohammed, I'm coming for you. I've watched your channel and you called him a snake, Mohammed. I'm coming for you, Mohammed. I've seen that your video, what you did yesterday. I've seen it. But Mohammed, I hope you're gonna do another video, Mohammed, and saying I'm sorry because Gibbs-White. Shout out to Mohammed though. Shout out to Mohammed. Let's go as well. This is from NFC. This contract list is a big burden for the club, and we need a couple of 2 wingers and fullbacks and another DM. That's right. Let me ask a question, because we love transfer gossip, and Gibbs-White is a massive statement now. Do you think now, and there's a lot of people get involved, do you think now this is a massive statement now? A best player staying at Nottingham Forest. Do you think other good players, even better than Gibbs-White, will come and say, "Oh, we've Gibbs-White staying"? Do you think now we can get better players? Because we see online like other players are moving to other clubs, and we're like, "Oh God, here we go, no one's signing." Are you getting frustrated? We've not brought players in, and now Gibbs-White has come in. Players will turn up.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the next big one is Callum Hudson-Odoi, as I've touched on, isn't it? I think, look, I'm starting to panic a little bit on that one. Nothing's been said, and like the contract's running down, and they've secured Nico, and they've secured Olo, and they've secured Matt Sells in goal. You know, they're all key, you know, but they're probably not as key as the front players, the guys who win football matches at the end of the day. And we've got a solid back line which we can work from. But to win, to do well and to climb up the Premier League and to be successful, you need to score goals. And that's why Gibbs-White and Elanga and Hudson-Odoi. Look, you know, if they'd have kept Elanga, and that's gone now, you know, I'll get over that one, and kept Hudson-Odoi and kept Gibbs-White, and it was a quiet summer apart from 1 or 2, you know, we all expect, and I think it's still going to happen in its entirety, we all expected Sosa and Jota Silva to leave, you know, because they didn't quite cut it even as replacement wingers. You know, we was all expecting a bit more in that area. What I would have loved to see, and I'll just throw a couple of names out there. I'd have loved to see, and it's supposed to be going quiet again, Douglas Luiz. You know, because I rate him as a player, and he fills that role we're talking about. Imagine him and Anderson and Gibbs-White and the 2 wide guys, you know, and perhaps Avissa, you know, somebody who scores, and you know I hate XG, but when you're looking for a player like Chris Wood, who scores from the fewest chances, you know, because Forest don't create many chances, even with all that talent, by the way Nuno sets his team up. So someone like that to pair off, or a Delap, obviously that one's gone, or a Matthias Cunha, that one went, you know, there was a few rumours around that. Hopefully these Brazilian guys fill some of those void. Well, the Brazilian up front fills that void a little bit. We don't know on that one. What I'd have loved to have seen is a more established Premier League striker like Visson. That might not be out of the water. Douglas Luiz might not be out of the water, but those two, and then a real quality winger. You know, Elanga, if we'd have kept Elanga, we probably need 2 now. But if we'd have kept Elanga, I'd have liked to see 1, because, you know, Elanga can go both sides. So I would have liked to see a right-sided player more so, because Hudson-Odoi plays off the left. But I don't think we're far short of not quite replicating the season, but having a decent one. If we get a 6, a striker, a proven striker, and a really good replacement winger, it seems to be what they're in the market for. We've added a bit of cover at centre back. Zach Abbott's a bit older. Willy Bolly's a steady head when you need to. Perhaps the slightly easier European games, if we get Conference League, they can fill in those games. So yeah, and that was the frustration from the outset. I don't think the team was a million miles away. All I really wanted to see, and getting back to your question, was all those stay and a real star appeal player sign in, and somebody who perhaps even Morgan Gibbs-White could look up to, as the best player in the team. And that would have been a massive, massive stride forward. Unfortunately, like we said many times, players move on. Football's all about levels. Visser wants to go to Newcastle because Newcastle are bigger than Brentford. And unfortunately, as much as I've had this argument a million times in my life, Elanga goes to Newcastle because Newcastle are a big football club. Although I always say we don't always base it on attendance, but they are a big football club considering all that Saudi money they've got. But again, you see with Isaac, his level, he wants to go next level now and things like that. And it's just how it works. They're going to want to get the most they can. It's not all about money. They're going to want to win things. And even though Newcastle and Spurs, and we don't like losing players to them because we like to ram down the throat what they've not won. We've actually won more than them. They've probably got a better chance of winning things than we have right
100%,
now.
100%. Like I said, comments. Like I said, thank you for everyone who's commenting on as well. People get involved with talking about Gibbs-White. Opinion, we've had a sleep on it, and Des said he's not slept over it. So people like to get involved. Please do hit the like button if you can. It helps my channel a lot. Make sure everyone just follows Des's 4 travelled as well on Instagram. Me and Des would, like I said, we'll be following Forest for next season, and I'm excited. Like I said, European football, Gibbs-White signed a new contract. Hopefully, we get 1 or 2 players who come in as well. As well, right, let me just go through the big comments as well. Again, keeping Gibbs-White's statement on 10, whether it's new players to follow as a result, only time will tell. It's settled the dressing room, and hopefully, of course, over to come in to boost the squad, definitely. And that's what's mentioned, Glenn. With Gibbs-White signing new players, hopefully we can bring in someone who's like better than Gibbs-White, because whatever European football it could be, Europa, Conference. Listen, I want good players at Forest, and Gibbs-White is a massive statement of being a Forest player. My legend, Way. I'm not really getting involved with all the debates, as there was something not quite right with me and the way info came out. I expect him to lose him a season ago to Man City, but so happy he's still here. Way. Did you call him a snake as well, Way? I'm coming for you. No, he didn't. I didn't see your comments. You didn't call him a snake. I know Mohammed did. Mohammed, stop lying. I seen your video and you called the title snake. I might just bring receipts out. People calling people. Do you think I should call out people who call him a snake? Mohammed, you're the top tier. I'm calling you out. Right there. Let's talk about our owner, Mr. Marinakis, because you keep saying it every single people. Like I said, I had to share that what just said on Instagram. Marinakis, right? People outside looking in. It's Forest fans. I love him. The positive things for Forest, I love it. The things you like, you raise your eyebrows on it as well. Looking okay. But he has proved a point. He has proved a point and saying, listen, don't F with my club, don't F with my players. I'm going to try and do something. And from a non-Forest fan, they'll say, oh, Marinakis this, Marinakis that. What do you think of Marinakis for what he's just done? As well, people in the chat as well. Get involved. I want to hear your opinion about Mr. Marinakis. Go on, Des. I think he's stepped to the next level on this.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Dore. And look, I don't criticise him as such, but some of the stuff is questionable. Some of the stuff you read and hear. But again, the way I look at it is, right, for years and years following Forest, we was a soft touch. We had nice people in charge. We had nice players. We had nice managers. We just felt like we was a bit of a pushover. There weren't a hard-faced winning mentality about the place, and that's why we slithered away into obscurity for so long. We were there. We watched it. It was painful. It was hard. All sorts of things. Still weren't right, and everybody was just like, well, it's the way it is now. What I love about Marinakis is he's come in, he's got the ball by its horns and just gone, I'm sorting this out. This is a big football club. This is my football club. And look, yes, some of it's questionable. And I'm, again, on that subject, I'm as realistic as anybody when it comes to that. I'm not going to slate him left, right and centre, but some of it's questionable. What's not questionable is he ain't letting anybody mess about with his football club anymore, like the way they've abused it and used it over the years. We've seen players come and go who didn't really give a toss. Mercenaries, people who turned up, didn't play for the shirt, managers who didn't perform and did all sorts. Of course, we've seen Fawaz, and yes, it's a little bit crazy at times, but if that's what my opinion is now, if that's what it takes to have a successful football side, again, it's none of my business. Admin, it's all admin. I don't care what goes on in the background. Look, it does good things in the community. You've got to say that, but again, when it comes to the football stuff, each to their own on the opinions. And if any other football fan had him in charge and defended a situation like this, like he has, it like everybody says, like Levy, he's a hard bargain. He drives a hard bargain. He don't get beat. He don't do this. Wow, Marinakis said, "Hold my beer," didn't he? Because at the end of the day, look, he's defended his team and he's kept the best player. If that's not hard bargaining, whatever it's cost, and we expect it's probably cost a pretty penny. But that's what it takes. It takes some balls and some guts. And of course, this guy's got it in bucket loads. To stand toe to toe with people in the public spectrum. The likes of Gary Neville and people like that, and just say no. You're not going to say and do what you want. He does offend people. He does upset people. But what people don't do anymore is see Forest as a little feather to tickle with. They're not a light touch. They're a club that mean business. And if he's doing stuff like this, when the deal was almost done, look, at the end of the day, what we are forgetting is we refused to take £60 million for a player. We've come a long way. From losing Wes Morgan, our best player, for £1 million, and almost seeing us go out of business and things like that. So we still refuse that money, even if it's not the market value for him. We're turning £60 million down. Look, that's the way football's gone now, and there's lots wrong in the way football clubs are these days, in terms of the fan and the loyal fan. If we want to go down that loyalty road, what people are talking about with Gibbs-White. But in terms of Marinakis, you couldn't ask for a better football club owner. That doesn't mean it doesn't come without faults. But then, like I say, that's none of our business. Our job is to go and support the football team that is presented to us, and we're the fans who get the most enjoyment from actually watching football, and the purity of that. Everything else can just be whatever it is. Because the last regime wasn't right. The one before that, the nice guy who we all loved, it wasn't right because the club wasn't working in the right order. It's a tough business, and it's full of big characters now who are going to be a little bit bombastic in their approach, and just do what they've got to do to win. But what I love about Marinakis is that winning mentality. He never accepts where we're at. We spoke with Cooper, we spoke with the players when we got promoted about a lack of sentimentality. Brilliant, really, because that we were too sentimental about all these things. We were too traditional. We were there when Marinakis stood on the council house, and it took me back Do you know, lots of people roared about it, and I got it. I was excited like everyone else. But when he said we write a new history, kind of shook me a little bit to the core, because I thought, oh, well, what about this from before? I took a second to take it all in. But he's just backed that up, hasn't he? You know, he's backed that up time and time again and proved that he's going to do what it takes. Some of it's not savoury, you know, so some of it's quite unsavoury. And like I say, when it comes to sort of pricing and tickets and this and that and whatever, you know, we feel the pinch sometimes, but it's, and I'm not going to go down that road of it's the price you pay for a football club, because I don't believe that. But when they give something back, all we can do is be a football fan and take it, accept it, and enjoy it, because, you know, I don't want to disappoint anybody who's jumped on the bandwagon, but this don't last forever.
Exactly.
And that was my upset from before. Of I felt it was burning out too soon.
200%. And like I said, bottom of the day, like I said, we've got to enjoy this moment, because, like I said, I'm not trying to be negative. We're going to Europe. We're going to Europe. Would you expect me, like, those Forest fans going, thinking of saying 2025-26 season, we're going to Europe? Like, just enjoy it. And we've got a great owner. Oh, he's gone off again. We've got a great owner. You want tickets to the Heights. And I love it. I don't know where Des has gone, but he's gone offline. Laugh aloud. I'm not calling it like, oh, I'm pragmatic, so we'll not call anyone. There it is. Get back on again. I'm not calling everyone a snake, whatever, to further their career. Definitely Mark. Pada Irish, even Mr. Dawn Des. Marinakis is not a man to tough with. A lot of clubs would love it. Definitely. Who wouldn't want Marinakis? Look what man you got to deal with. They've got to deal with Eneos or whoever. Spurs have got Levy, and he before they won the Europa, they was calling him out. Look, and Arsenal now spending money. Who else is there? Even Liverpool fans was being saying things by the owner. Now they're spending bucket loads of money.
Do you know what I've always said, though? Right, I've always said this back from the Nigel Doherty days. Right, good businessmen make bad football chairmen because they're too sensible. Yeah. Bad businessmen. I'm not saying he's bad, but crazy, rational, driven, winner type characters make brilliant football owners, chairman, whatever, because they want their team to win at all cost, and that's what he does, isn't it? Like you mentioned there, you mentioned Ineos. Obviously, they're very, very successful. You know, some of the richest people in the world, but they made a right mess of the biggest football club in the world.
Exactly. There's quite a lot of messages coming on. Like, for Yeti, I do Yeti people. If you want to be a member, please be a member. It helps my channel a lot as well. And if you have any super chats, like Scott has it, I'll show you in a minute, Scott. Please do. Yes, I've blown away. I never expected this, but this is a massive statement made. Love the fact Greek. He fights. He fights on his beaches and in the trenches. Before it's definitely Yeti. Dina, where have you been, Dina? I've not seen you for a while. I love listening to Des. I don't really like listening to Des. I just get Des on because I like listening to the Des. I love listening to Des. Proper football head and on the shoulders. Don't give Des a big head, Dino. I love him. Shout out to my friend Alex. Where have you been? Where have you been? Scott, like I said, Scott, thank you for the super chat, Scott. Thank you for the £5. Straight to my European fund. Let's move on now. We've got European football. Let's bring in 4 more players and have a fantastic season. Don't mess with the Greek father. Definitely, Scott. Like I said, we're loving it. We've got European football. We all can moan about we're not bringing players in. Gibbs-White is a massive statement. I think he's our best signing. He's our best signing so far. But listen, we're going to hear it from now to the end of the window. We link with him. Players are going to that club instead. Blah blah blah. I love Mr. Marinakis. Kevin, how are you doing, Kevin? I'm all right, my friend. How are you doing, my friend? A big lad said, "Hi, Dore, how you doing?" I'm all right. I'm buzzing, man. I'm absolutely buzzing because I said that's why I got Des on, because and there's going to be people out there as well who love Gibbs-White. I think I'm just excited. We've made a statement on, because in the past, and like I said, we can talk about I'll tell you, Dore, I never called Gibbs-White a snake, man. Yes, you did. You called him a snake. I'm going to call you out, Mohammed. I'm going to call it out. What I'm saying, like, with the Gibbs-White situation, like I said, it's a massive, massive statement. And if, like I said, with Langer going, if you look at it, right, from Langer, he was our first choice player. We've only lost one first choice player, and that's a Langer. Danilo, he wasn't a first choice. Souza, he wasn't a first choice. Toffolo, he wasn't a first choice. Amar Bamidele, he wasn't a first choice. We need players who can be are going to accept that are squad players. That's what it is. Yes, it's okay bringing young players in. Like yesterday was Sinclair, Powell. Who else was it? Who else was it? Sinclair, Powell. Who else was it, Dad? Who else was it yesterday?
I can't remember, but the point in that, Dore, is that look, it's only a friendly, and they've approached it in the way they thought was best. And I'm not reading too much into it, but when you saw Fulham's team, you could see the vast difference. Of course, we then went and put the what effectively looks like a first team on in the second half. And it was much more competitive, but you see the immediate drop off, and that just sort of stems back to my worries about where we were going. Without those three players, you start relying on, and perhaps an injury or two to Chris Wood or someone. You're relying on Tyro. Look, nothing against Tyro, but you're starting to rely on the reserves, and we know from last season. Ultimately, we didn't have enough in reserve because it ruined the end of the season. They ran out of steam. It was as simple as that. It wasn't down to one person. It was down to several players being tired, injured, and the reserves, people like Jota and Sosa, for as much endeavour they put in, and I don't think they disgraced themselves. They just weren't the level of player that we could put on the pitch. When Hudson-Odoi was injured, it was massive. And that's the difference, and you see it in that first game there. That Fulham game, it's just a massive drop off. And yes, it was filled with kids, and there's a lot in it, and they played a strong team, but it was predictable as well at the same time.
I don't know, people. Have you seen us? Marinakis said something on the Forest on the Forest posts. So I think I'll list it afterwards. But he has said something. So if you do want to go on IG, go on Instagram, and he has said something about the Gibbs-White situation. Here's one of yours. It's some personal. Dawn, how you doing, Dawn? Most important, what do you reckon of Bolly being like his replacement in our today? It's so funny. Oh my days, Dawn. It's not Christmas yet. Leave me alone. Scott, thank you for being a member to the channel. People like Scott, if you want to be a member of my channel, please do. As well, people follow. If you like I said, I mentioned it over again. Des does his before and after games on which one is it, Des? Is it on your channel or the other one?
I do it on Twitter, don't I? I do a pre-match thoughts and post-match kind of analysis. I'm no professional, but I like talking about football, actual football, not this rubbish. I do talk about this, but I like watching football more than talking about the admin.
Yeah, but like I said, people follow Des on as well. Right, last but not least, Des, before we go, and like I said, appreciate everyone that took the time. We don't do a lot. I've enjoyed the lunchtime one, so I will do more as well. So yeah, please do, like I said, hit the like button if you can and subscribe. Last thoughts, Des. We got, how many days is it now? We've got 3 weeks till left till the season starts. Are you positive now? Like I said, Gibbs-White's done now. What's your thoughts, Des, like from now till the first game against Brentford?
Well, absolutely. I've said it many times. I can't wait for the 17th. Obviously, there's a couple of friendly games I might go to before then. It's about seeing what the stuff on the pitch, and the whole thing that this signing gives us is hope again. Because my big thing was, I was just flat. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about football. Look, we all embrace ourselves and engross ourselves in football 24/7, but I just chose to ignore it because it was bothering me how much this could have affected us. But now, of course, I'm really looking forward to it. I just can't wait to get back in. You know, without being cheesy about it, it's what we do. It's our happy place. It's where we can release from everything else that's going on. And when you've got something to be positive about, the last thing you want to be about it is a bit flat and down and worried, because we've been there for many years and it becomes a bit of a labour of love, you know, if you persevere like we have. So yeah, it's just the news we needed, and now anyone coming in will feel like a much more positive signing, not a plug, you know, plugging a gap or filling a hole, because that's kind of what players have felt like to some degree, because again, we don't know what they're going to be if they're not proven.
Right, Des, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for taking your time out because Des, as everyone knows, Des does his running. Are you doing any running today, Des, or not?
I've not been very well this week, but strangely, I've perked up overnight.
Why is that? Why is that, Des? But yeah, well, before we do go, this one, Chris. Hey, it's off topic, but I'm looking to make my first ever visit to City Ground with Force. Which is the best way to look out of town to get 2 kids to match? Chris, all you can do is if you are a member, go and then try and find tickets. That's the best you can do, Chris. There's always going to be tickets on different websites and that. But Chris, I'd love to meet you. This guy's a legend. He's been on my channel for years now, even the championship days as well.
Do you know what I say about that? I know a couple of guys who've been in touch with me who are coming to the games, and the best bit of advice we can give, because season tickets used to give you a bit of a privilege, didn't it?
Yeah.
We have got less chance than anybody else now, because as soon as it goes out of our bracket, well, because we've got tickets, we're not allowed to buy tickets, are we?
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do, if you can afford it, is get hospitality, you know, and that kind of almost guarantees your way in if you're prepared to make that trip. It's not cheap, but again, it's a way to get in and watch the game.
That's it, Chris. And like Kel just said, Chris get international membership, and that's what, again, get an international membership. That's the best you can do. Like Des says, if you desperately want to go, get corporate or whatever to get to the ground, because I know there's so many Forest fans now in the Premier League.
What I'd say on that though, get the Trent end, because they've taken those windows out. It's probably the cheapest option.
Yeah,
but it's not because it's the cheapest option. It's the closest to a match day atmosphere. Because you're not sat behind glass and exactly. You know, you get to experience Mull of Kintyre. But again, if you're making the trip so far, which I know Chris would be, then it's an option if you want that guaranteed seat. I know, obviously, Steve is coming from Australia and Albertus is coming over from Canada.
Albertus as well. He's coming as well. Yeah, he's coming as well. Is he coming Christmas?
He's Brentford, I think. Brentford.
Oh no, it's Justin. Justin's coming at Christmas. So yeah, Justin, another Forest fan. Shout out to Justin. He's coming as well. So it's good to see Forest fans from around the world coming to visit the City Ground. And like I said, like me and Des and Forest fans who can get to the City Ground, it's a great experience. And again, this season is going to be even more better. It's going to be more better. And listen, me and Des, I'm excited. I'm excited to go into wherever country that we are going to. And listen, I'm looking forward to it. Right, it's been a pleasure. Des, again, thank you very much for taking your time at this lunchtime. Because I had to get Des on. He's the biggest kid person here. But yeah, Des, appreciate it. Like I said, make sure you follow Des on all Instagram posts as well. His Instagram post is on my page. So if you can, click on it and follow Des's journey, because Des, like myself and like all Forest fans, we're going to have new experiences being a Forest fan. And listen, I'm excited. Right, people, if you are rewatching this and if you all watched this and there's any things that I've missed out, please do in the comment section as well. But last but not least, if you can, do a massive favor for me. Please do hit the like button. Like I said, like and subscribe. Okay, and I'm still going to say this, Des, please make a YouTube channel, because I keep bugging in and I will annoy Des as well. But yes, people, I might do a video tomorrow. I don't know if any news comes out. Like I said, I'm not going to do a video for the sake of it. Like, this is big news. If any big news comes out, signings or whatever, my channel and whatever other channel there you want to watch, make sure you do subscribe to Rads as well. It's been a pleasure. And I'll ask people, Gibbs-White is staying for Nottingham Forest for another season. Peace and love, people. Up the bloody Forest.